Thank you. Everyone hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right, you can just edit that part out. So 1, 2, 3. Welcome to today's episode of the Boxhead Boys, featuring yours truly, Chris Shelton and Jaden Tiller. We have a special guest today on the pod. We have Kelsey Worthington of South Carolina Track and Field. Let's
Hey,
give it a round
guys.
of applause. Oh, a thumbs down from Chris. Okay.
Oh, that kind of hurt.
Go Clemson.
Okay, so
only for
obviously,
Oh,
we will cheer for South Carolina.
yeah.
oh yeah, I keep forgetting you're a Clemson fan, Chris. But
Unacceptable.
obviously today we're on Zoom. The studio's getting a little bit of a renovation, so we can't be
Flooring
there.
tomorrow. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we're excited. So we normally start off every episode with a hot take of the day, which can be across any, category. And we like to get our guest involved with this. It can be about sports, movies, entertainment, music, food, whatever you really want to talk about. One of those kind of things. So
I don't know. I might need one of y'all to go first, just so I can get an idea of something.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I have too many like hot takes.
yeah.
But y'all come up with something. It'll get the wheels turning. You know what I mean?
I didn't think of one yet. So Chris, do you have anything?
All right. The Golden State Warriors will be in the NBA Finals next year. You're welcome. Even though I'm a Mavericks fan, that team,
He's been telling me that for the past 3 days. He won't shut up about it. I knew it was going to come out in the pod eventually. I knew it was coming.
It's
I just keep counting down
unbelievable.
the days.
They got the 7th pick, the 14th pick, Klay Thompson coming back, Wiseman. Beautiful. I'm just ready. I'm ready to
Once mine's not about sports. Mine is that Moses is better than Chipotle.
Speaking of which, I had Chipotle for the first time yesterday.
And how was it? First
Because it was
time.
buy one, get one free. I don't know if y'all knew that, but it was.
Listen, I may have said Moses better than Chipotle. That doesn't mean I don't like Chipotle. So I would totally go. Wait, how long's the deal for?
It was just yesterday. It was crazy. The line was like out the door, way out the door.
So that was your first time eating. Was that your first time eating Chipotle ever?
Ever, yeah. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. But I might have to agree with you. Like,
Was it overrated?
Better.
I agree.
I don't know if it's overrated, but like, they're definitely different. They're definitely different.
Yeah.
Like everyone says they're exact same, but like they're similar, but they're not the same.
No.
There's a difference to it. How would you rate Chipotle off of your experience yesterday?
Oh man. Honestly, 7 out of 10. I mean, it's not like fine dining, but for the fast food experience, I feel like it's pretty good. So
not bad for fast food.
Gets the 7. Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, my hot take. This is gonna be kind of hard. I'm not okay. I am opinionated, but not about. I'm trying to think of I've been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix and stuff lately.
What shows?
I'm trying to think what's come out. All my friends have been watching the anime stuff that's been coming out lately, but maybe that's my hot take. I'm not really into that stuff.
I'm not either.
Is that a hot take? It's overrated. Is that stuff overrated?
I feel like that's a hot take. Because everyone's starting to obsess over it.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't know. I tried to watch
anime?
an episode, but
not anymore because I'm on an anime ban because I used to watch it just too much. But now I just watch Loki now and I need to watch the episode. No, I just got back from work. I'm gonna watch it.
So good.
Okay. I'm ready.
Do you watch Loki, Kelsey?
I haven't seen that one, but I'm pretty sure that's one of them that my friends are watching right now. And I know they also just watched Dragon Slayer. I don't know if you guys know of that one.
Don't know what that is.
I know what that is.
Okay, well maybe that's why I feel like it's overrated because that's the one I watch. So maybe just a bad experience.
Yeah. So I guess we all got our hot take down, yeah?
Yeah.
All
That
right.
was
So
the
we're
fastest
gonna
hot takes of all time.
what's that?
That was the fastest hot takes of all time. No screaming, no nothing.
Normally Chris screams at someone for a hot take.
It's not.
Oh
It's
my
not my
God.
He
fault.
kept himself well mannered today.
Yeah.
He
Very
kept
nice,
himself
very
well
nice.
mannered. So we're gonna get more into the interview part of this.
Okay, cool.
So how did you get to where you are today? How many sports did you play growing up? And what made, so do you do track and field like as like a broad, category, or is it just one thing and one thing only?
Right. Okay, so to answer that last question first, just so we know the direction we're headed in.
Yeah, I
I
needed
just
that
pole
one
vault.
answered. Okay.
So I
So
just pole vault for the track
what made you
team. So
pick
that's
that?
it. Yeah. So I actually grew up, I started gymnastics when I was like 1.5. And so I did that for 10 years, like all the way through 6th grade. Fractured my back. So I was out for like 2 months. Yeah. And like a week out in gymnastics is like, you get so far behind. It's like so weird like that. But I guess it's because like you literally practice 20 hours a week. So you miss a 20-hour week and it's like you're kind of screwed. But so I was doing that, but then I quit. And then by the time like I was healthy again, I didn't like love it enough at that point to go back. So I went back to dance because I used to dance growing up too. Then I missed kind of like the tumbling aspect of gymnastics. So then I did competitive cheerleading. So I did that in 8th grade, halfway through high school. Well, not halfway, but half of my freshman year. And so people in high school knew I did competitive cheerleading. People that had known me long enough knew I did gymnastics. And I had a few friends that pole vaulted, and they were like, yo, you would be good at this just because of my background and, being comfortable being upside down and things like that. So I was already kind of thinking about it. So that was kind of like the final push for me. So I started that halfway through my freshman year, when the track season came around. Joined a club doing that too. Was doing indoor and outdoor like over the summer, which was kind of beyond just the high school season. And then got here, worked hard enough, fortunately was talented enough to make it to the big stage, so very thankful.
That's pretty cool. So that's so you when you cheered, was it just for that freshman year or?
Yeah, I honestly hated it. This is gonna sound terrible, but like I didn't like relying on everyone else for my success. So that's just me being very achievement oriented and whatnot. And like I said, I'm just more of I like to rely on myself than others. But
Yeah,
that's kind of why that didn't really work out for me.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
So in all the sports that you played growing up, who do you think influenced the way you played the game in each of those kind of sports?
Honestly, I've never been a person to have like a set role model throughout my life. I feel like the biggest role model I have isn't an athlete. It's actually my mom, and which sounds corny, but she grew up like she was super poor, like lived in a trailer, like honestly, like she was having to work. Her siblings were having to work. My grandma had like multiple jobs just to keep them afloat. Like Salvation Army would come and like give them Christmas presents, and she like worked her butt off to like go to college at Ole Miss, where she actually cheered, which is pretty cool. So I guess she was kind of an athlete. She was like the SEC cheerleader of the week one week, and worked really hard to get there. Got a degree in accounting, and now she's like a vice president in her company. And I just think that's really cool because she like worked so hard to get where she's at today. And so honestly, to me, that's like kind of shows me like if I work hard enough, I can achieve bigger goals or get myself to higher places than I was before.
Good stuff. So you're at South Carolina right now. What would you say is the biggest reason you chose South Carolina over other schools?
Yeah.
Any courses?
Who? Also, I'm gonna add on to this question a little bit.
Okay.
Who recruited you coming out of high school? Who were the schools that like would reach out to you and you were like, oh, this might be a possibility?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So track and field is like honestly a lot different than other sports. Especially when it comes to the field aspect. like the track aspect, the sprinting and stuff, even just the jumps, like, long jump and high jump, I feel like all of that, it's much more likely that you're going to get recruited specifically, like if you do those events. If you're kind of like, honestly, pole vault can just be kind of left behind, I guess I should say. Even then, like, to be recruited for pole vaulting, you have to be like, honestly, top 10 in your class or top 10 in the nation overall. Like, it's
So what
just
were you
not,
ranked?
it's not really common for like a coach to walk up to a pole vaulter as it would be even a sprinter. And then, I mean, not that this is totally the case, but I just feel like you hear about it with football that these guys are getting recruited like insane. And that's just not kind of, at least not what I experienced personally with track. So for me, it was more of me reaching out to coaches myself. And so that kind of took like a lot of work and research. And honestly, when it came to school, like it wasn't just about pole vaulting for me and athletics. So kind of what I did, my approach was like, I figured out kind of what I wanted to major in. I would look at schools that had first a pole vault coach, because that's another thing. A lot of schools don't even have a pole vault coach because it's such a specific event. And so that was kind of like the first thing on my list. And then it was like, do they have the major that I want, or a major that I feel like would be good for me? And then from there, okay, they have those things. Are their pole vaulters even any good? Like, is that somewhere where I feel like I will improve once I get there? So after doing that, I probably emailed like 20 or so coaches. But South Carolina, my coach, Coach Brown, was actually one of the first that I emailed, like in the very beginning, like right when I jumped 11-1, which really isn't that great. I felt like I was like legit enough and early enough on, like that being the beginning of my junior year, that I could start reaching out to coaches. He was actually one of the first 4 that I reached out to. So that was kind of cool, how it turned out in the end, just because he was one of the ones that I was talking to the longest. But with that said, why I chose South Carolina, I ended up taking 3 visits, one to South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Minnesota. And I honestly so my mom went to Ole Miss, right? So a lot of people that knew me, like growing up in middle school and like early high school, like they all thought, because I was a big Ole Miss fan, they all thought I was definitely going to go there. And I honestly kind of did too. Like I thought I was going to go there too, but on my visit, I just like didn't quite feel like home. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just wasn't completely there. And I don't know. I was kind of surprised, but it just didn't feel right with me. It wasn't sitting right with me. And then South Carolina was actually my first visit, and I absolutely loved it. Like everyone was so awesome. That was one of the biggest reasons I liked it so much, was the team, and the people were literally perfect, fit right in. It felt like I'd known them already for years. And then also the major here was like super, super cool. And then I also was really interested in the honors college here at the time, which I've dropped since then, but that was a big contributor to my decision. But even then, so I first took the visit to South Carolina, then Ole Miss, and I was honestly like feeling like I knew that I wanted to go to South Carolina. And Minnesota is the total opposite, I feel like, being in the north, like
Where it's
being so far
colder.
from home, like just totally different. And I decided to like go on the visit because I was like, you know what, like if I feel like I'm so sure, I should look at the complete opposite and see if this is really what I want. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I went on that visit, and surprisingly, like I ended up really liking it, and I was really conflicted. The coaching staff was just so kind, so nice, and like even the athletic director, like I can't remember who exactly it was, but he knew a teacher at North Gwinnett that
Oh,
I like
serious?
had. Yeah, it was actually wild.
Do
Like
you remember the teacher or?
that's what I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But I just thought it was like so crazy, because then, being religious as I am, I'm like, oh, is this like, a sign that there's
Fine, yeah.
connections here,
Yeah.
like, so I was like honestly really torn. And then they actually offered me like a fantastic offer from where I was athletically at that point. Like, so that made it even harder too, because, money was a big stressor for me, especially going out of state and stuff. So I wasn't sure, but then I chose South Carolina just because like that's just where it felt like home and like where my heart was. So long story there, but that's kind of all that wrapped up.
Gotcha. So I guess, it was a pretty big, like, decision to make between Minnesota and South Carolina. Was there like one thing in particular that like just set South Carolina on a different pedestal compared to where Minnesota was?
So the biggest thing was the team and the people. At Minnesota, I loved absolutely everything except for there wasn't like I was going to be the only pole vaulter there. And then like this guy that was going to be a senior and he was a decathlete. So he wasn't even just a pole vaulter. So like, honestly, it came down to the fact that I felt like I was going to be alone in one place versus like this other visit I had where I immediately like fit in with the entire team, not even just the pole vaulters, but everyone else I met too. So honestly, that's just kind of what it came down to. And kind of going back to religion and stuff, like I just felt like that was God's way of telling me that was where I was supposed to be, was the people in the community. So
Yeah,
that's kind of how I decided. That's what it came down to in the end.
So I remember you saying like one way to get recruited, or I guess the word recruited for pole vaulting was to be like ranked top 10 or something. What was your ranking coming out of high school?
So I was ranked number 25, I believe, in my class. So it's either 25 overall or 25th in my class, but I'm pretty sure it was 25th in my class. There was honestly, there's been pole vaulting specifically, it's gotten a lot more competitive in just the past 2 years. Like girls in high school are doing crazy things. One was just at the Olympic trials, which is unreal. Like
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, insane. And that's like what she jumped is like becoming way more normal for these high schoolers to do. So it's just getting like way more competitive. But yeah, I mean that was like a pretty good standing for me. And my mark that I hit in high school was like good enough to get me into the door to a D1 school, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be full ride, like it's in the bag. Like that wasn't the case for me.
Got you.
So what did you learn from your like first season being at South Carolina? Like, what do you take away and what are you like ready to like expand on or get better at their next season?
Right. So honestly, it's been between COVID and everything, like it's been a whirlwind. So my freshman year with pole vaulting specifically too, like you go into college and normally you're in high school, like you jump high because you've just managed to jump high. It's not about your technique. So then you get to college, and usually with pole vaulting, you do really bad your freshman year because you have to change completely everything. You have new coaching, you have a new method, that like a new technique that you're doing the pole vaulting with. And so it's just a lot of change. So I was like actually trying to get ahead of that curve like my senior year, because there were some things that like when I was going through the recruiting process, coaches kept telling me I was going to have to fix and change. And so I tried to get ahead of that curve, but really my freshman year was just figuring out like the new technique and trying to figure out. I actually changed pole brands, which is like also very pole vault specific, but that was like a big difference and a big shift for me too, just to really get used to. And then of course, right as our indoor season, it was spring break, but those that had qualified were at the indoor nationals, and that is immediately like when COVID started hitting and all these like big games started getting shut down. And like our team was literally there, had warmed up the day before, they were going to compete the next day, and they literally shut down the meet. So that's kind of when, everyone had to go home, like season was over. So we didn't compete outdoor my freshman year. So I technically still have that outdoor season. And then
you still have like a remaining year of eligibility?
So I actually, I'll get to it, but I actually have 2 years of eligibility. And I am considering taking one of them, but we'll see how it plays out. But so then coming to my sophomore year, I was honestly a lot more determined. But since the COVID thing happened, the girls who were supposed to graduate actually ended up coming back because they did have that extra season of eligibility. And so that was unexpected. Like me and my other teammate had been talking, and we were like, oh, like we're going to be like 1 and 2 this year. You know what I mean? Like we were ready to run it up. You know what I mean? And then these girls come back and they're actually 1 and 2. So that was kind of like, oh man, just cause like we had gotten so pumped up and excited for that. And just for the, like if you're 1 and 2, like coach is going to give you more attention. You know what I mean? Like he's going to put in more work to like develop you. Mm-hmm. So we were just kind of bummed about that. But with that said, like I was still way more determined this past year, because I just felt like when I went to the SEC meet my freshman year, which was awesome that I got to go, I was not expecting to be able to go to that meet. Yeah, I was honestly so embarrassed, like, of how I did. Like, it was so eye-opening to be like, winning all the time in high school, to being at the SEC championships and then being like, oh wow, like on this level, I am nothing. Like, not to be like super negative, but it was literally like, I am nothing. Like, oh my gosh. And so I was like really determined my sophomore year, which was this past year, to like do way better, get in the game. And so I actually had a far better indoor season. I had tried it at PR 2 or 3 times, which I haven't done since my junior year of high school. And I was honestly super, super close. Like, outdoor season I was literally like, this is about to be my season. It's about to go down. And then unfortunately I broke my foot right before outdoor season started. And so then I was out all of outdoor season, which was super upsetting and frustrating, and confusing, because I was starting to do so much better, and like, just with my faith and everything, being kind of like, why is this happening? Like, I don't understand. Like, I thought pieces were probably falling together. Like, what's going on? And but with that said, like, I finally have just started coming back again, and I'm like, am doing things that I've never been able to do. So it's almost like this time that I had off, like, has actually been more beneficial. There's like this, not to get all nerdy, but I think this is actually really interesting. There's this like psychological study that was done that was about free throws, and that somebody that did 23 free throws, like, who actually practiced it, and then 20 free throws, like, in their head, like 2 different groups, they actually improved almost just as much. And so that's kind of how I feel like I've been kind of working lately. Like, I almost like needed to not actually be doing it, but to actually just be thinking about it in my head, and like watching other people do it all season, and like learning more about it. And so I'm honestly really excited, and I've like told my coach, and I've written on my mirror that like I'm scoring at SECs this year, and I'm going to go to the national meet. Like, I'm gonna qualify for that. So it's about to be different, because I've like really buckled down. Like, I'm following a new diet. Like, I'm waking up 6:30 every day this summer, going to the weight room. Like, I'm doing stuff that I wasn't doing before.
I can barely get up before 7. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm just more motivated than ever. And I almost think like that's another reason why I was out like during the outdoor season, because I needed that extra motivation. You know what I mean? I feel like I'd gotten like almost like hopeless, like where I'd given up on myself. And it almost made me realize like, I'm like just as good as these other girls that are doing these things. Like, I can do this if I want to. Like, I just have to be all in, you know what I mean? And like before, I feel like I was making excuses here and there. And so I'm really excited about this year. But with all that said, this past indoor didn't count. And then I have this outdoor season. So that's kind of why I have like these 3 seasons left. And so it kind of is riding on this season to see how it goes for me to kind of decide, just because, I'm getting to like near the end of my coursework. I'm going to have to figure out like how I would do a 5th year. So we'll kind of see how it goes, but I'm planning on big things. And I've told my coaches, so they're counting on it too now.
We're holding you to it now too.
Yeah, I don't really have a choice at this point.
You don't have a choice at all.
Yeah, the free throw thing was interesting to me, and Chris will appreciate this joke, but I think our guy Ben Simmons needs to.
That's what I was thinking. The same. He needs it. He needs that. You need to send that to him. I'm literally gonna take that one portion of this video and just tag him every single day.
Oh, we're close.
That's what he needs. Oh man.
So you mentioned you're breaking your foot. How long is that? How long is the timetable of recovery, and where are you in the recovery process, or is it fully healed? Like, what's the story?
So that happened like, I want to say like mid-March, and it was literally like a week before our first outdoor meet. And it almost felt like I jinxed it, because I kept saying at practice all the time, I was like, oh God, like guys, like I made it farther than last year. Like, I haven't, like last year, everything got shut down before this point. Like, I haven't actually made it this far into the athletics, you know what I mean? And then of course I break my foot. So whatever. But
you never knocked on wood, did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't. That's what got me. That's what got me. I even think I said that one day, like, I need to knock on wood, or I'm gonna jinx myself. But so fortunately, like, the doctors told me that honestly it could have been so many different things that would have been way worse, like that would have required surgery, that would have prolonged my recovery process and everything. So honestly, in a way, it was like still a blessing just because it could have been a lot worse. And so I was in a boot and crutches for 2 weeks. And that was like absolutely, like I couldn't walk on it. Like they were like, the longer you wait to walk on it, the better for like up in the beginning. So I literally was hopping around, or I was using the crutches. Like I was not walking on that foot. And then I was very surprised, but it looked good enough a couple weeks later when I got x-rays again that I was able to walk in the boot. So I wasn't on the crutches anymore, and those were terrible. So I was ecstatic. So I was in the boot for a couple weeks walking. And then after the next x-ray, it still looked really good. Like my pain levels and stuff were doing really good. So I actually got this like carbon fiber, like plate, like insert to go in your shoe.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was like a metal foot insert, essentially, that kind of went under like the cushiony insert. And so that was like the next 2 weeks. And then x-rays looked good after that. So he had me just walking a regular shoe for a week. And then finally he cleared me to like start returning to play. But that's obviously not like, oh, you get to go outside and run. Like I actually was going to we have this like underwater treadmill. It's called HydroWorks. So that was kind of like the first. It was cool. That was kind of like the first step, was like going on that and literally just walking, because walking hurt. Like it was honestly crazy that, because at this point it felt like so long, and it was just crazy to me that the bone itself like was still kind of hurting, you know what I mean? Yeah. But so that was like a couple weeks, and then it was finally like I could go outside, and the whole return to play for me was like I run a minute and then I walk 3, and then I run a minute and then I walk 3, and I do that 5 times. And I do that for a day, and then I take a day off, and then I do that again, and I take a day off, and then I go up to 2 minutes running, 2 minutes walking. I do that until I totally got up to 20 minutes running without stopping. But that was like near the end of the school year, when like finals were going on, and like the beginning of summer, like I was going on family vacation. Like my birthday is right around that time of the year, so like there was just a lot of stuff going on. So at that point, like that took longer than it probably should have. Like I want to say 3.5 weeks just to get through that little segment. And then at that point I was still just going on like 20-minute runs, just because that was easy. And I was just trying to get my foot still used to it. Like this whole time I was trying to be really patient, even though obviously I wanted to get back, because at one point too, I thought that I might be able to get back by the end of the outdoor season, and be able to go to like the SEC meet, but that ended up just not, like I ended up realizing like that just wasn't going to happen. So then it just became this thing like, well, there's no point in rushing it. Like I have all summer, to finally get back. So kind of was just taking my time, and then I kind of decided to start like slowly getting myself back into it, because the track season actually goes through the middle of June. So it's like over a month past the end of the school year, like a month and a half past the end of the school year. So this is like the time that I'm trying to start actually getting back, right? And my trainers are like not here, like they're on the road with the team, like, and so there wasn't really like an easy way to like kind of get back into it with their instruction. So I kind of just started like doing it myself. So I was just doing more sprinting work, like trying to slowly get back into it, doing lighter workouts and then adding a little bit more intensity, you know what I mean? And now I'm actually pole vaulting again. So I just started pole vaulting 2 weeks ago. So that was like super exciting. And I actually, like I said, I've been doing really good. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm having some like other leg pains, like stuff in my shin and calves of that leg, just because I think I didn't get it quite strong enough yet before I started doing all this higher intensity and pole vaulting again, because it's actually my takeoff leg. So that's like a lot of impact on it, especially when I pole vault. And so I'm getting some treatment, like now, that my trainers are here all the time, and trying to work back into that. Just doing some more cross training. Like instead of running today, I did like a sprint workout on the bike. So I'm adjusting, but I'm pretty much back. So it's quite exciting. I'm ready.
Back.
Yeah, back again.
Hey.
Guess who's back?
God.
Oh my
All right, where we
gosh.
at? Where we at?
Kelsey Worthington is officially back. You heard it on the box head, boys.
You heard it here.
And big things are coming.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
So if you weren't pole vaulting right now, what sport would you play? And it can't be something you've already done.
Oh, dang. That's a good question. I always kind of like thought diving would be cool, but like honestly, that's really scary to me. I feel
I
like
know,
it's like
it's
in
totally
line
scary.
with what I've done, but it seems like super scary. So I
Terrifying.
don't know if I would do that.
I swam in high school, and there was a portion of the meet where it was diving every meet, and we'd like watch them, and they'd be like this close to hitting their head, and we're just like, I could never do that,
No,
never
yeah.
want to do that. You know,
Okay, and
it's a risky thing.
yeah, I I just couldn't do it. Okay, but I guess the answer I want to give you is like I always kind of low key wish I played football. Like if that was like more normal for like girls to play, like I think it would be so cool.
That would be
Like
pretty
it
cool.
just seems really fun. Like
What
that's
position?
my answer because that's the only thing that I'm like, oh, I would play football if I could. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What
So
position would you want to play?
I feel like it's cliche, but I would want to be a receiver. So
I thought you
I
were gonna
can't throw to save my life,
Okay.
but I can kind of catch the ball. So
Gotcha.
that would be fun, I feel like,
Yeah.
for sure.
I could see that. I mean, with the track and field background, I feel like it's like an obvious, receiver situation.
This is true. I think
I mean,
you're onto
you just
something
gotta
here.
just put two and two together,
We might just
all
need
that.
to make it happen.
maybe a linebacker. Let's for a linebacker. Let's for
Oh
a
my
linebacker.
God.
With it being an Olympic year, I know pole vaulting is an Olympic sport. So, other than pole vaulting, what sport would you try to be an Olympian in?
Ooh, this is a good one. I want to see.
Because you already play an Olympic sport.
Yeah, so I want to see what you say.
Can it be like another track and field event?
Yeah.
Actually, I want
Okay.
to see what the
I
other
have a
answers
good
would be.
reason for it.
Okay, we can get one track and field event and one that's not track and field.
Okay. I have two good reasons for it then. Okay. If I could do long jump in the Olympics, that'd be really cool because my great grandpa went to the Olympics for long jump.
Oh, no way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that would be like super, super cool. And then if I had to choose another event, it would actually be like snowboarding because my like second cousin has gone to the Olympics for that. So I just feel like it'd be cool to like rep the last name, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So your family is an Olympian family.
It kind of is like low key in the blood, but I don't really know if that's realistic for me. But I always kind of was like, dang, that'd be like really cool just because, it's kind of like it's in there a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's in the blood.
It's in there. It's in there. But I think that's what maybe why I'm at this level that I'm at. So
Yeah.
Did either of them win a gold medal at all, or were they
So-
at least on the podium?
the story about my grandpa is kind of like insane. So apparently like he was supposed to win that year. It was 1912 as the Stockholm Olympics. I don't know if you guys oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys have followed like track and field at all. Probably not, just because it's not like a well-known sport. But one of he goes to LSU and he's made the Olympics for the long jump and the high jump. And he's the first person to do it since Jim Thorpe in the 1912 Olympics, which isn't my great grandpa, but it's the same year he went. So that's just a fun fact because that's also happening this year, which is kind of cool. But okay, so it's the 1912 Olympics. It's in Stockholm. So that's also the same year that the Titanic sank. So they start sailing over there because this is also when like it wasn't like a quick little trip. Like it was like a trip, like a long trip.
You couldn't fly there. You had to.
Right.
sail.
And so they're sailing over there. The Titanic sinks, so they have to sail around the Titanic, extending their journey. My great grandpa gets really seasick and he loses 40 pounds. And they get there and they're like way late because they had to get there really early to like basically retrain because it's not like you can do much on the boat. So they're late to training and he still manages to get fourth place.
Oh,
which is kind of
Not
insane.
bad.
So that's the closest they've been, but it's a cool story for sure.
That is pretty cool.
yeah, that's insane.
Pretty cool.
It is really insane. It's crazy.
Can we expect to see the third generation get to the Olympics, or?
You know, I would love to say yes, but you have to know your limitations. And I just don't know if that's practical for me. Like the girls that are going are like really tall and stuff, and I don't really have that aspect going for me. Not to say that you can't do it, because
Yeah.
somebody could, but I'm not in a place where I got my goals a little bit more like, closer to now.
Yeah.
I'm more focused on next year, and maybe if things come together and it seems more realistic at that point, like we could see. But like I said, that seems a little too far-fetched. So I'm just focusing on what I seems attainable for me right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So we're gonna kind of veer off the like serious athletic side and kind of touch into the personal side. Who are your top 5 artists to listen to right now? Like favorite wise, not like ranked, but like top 5 favorites to listen to.
Okay, I'm really on Giveon right now.
Okay.
Do y'all know about Giveon?
I've heard him in a feature.
Okay.
I've heard him in a couple of songs.
Heartbreak Anniversary.
Yeah, that song's really good.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Heartbreak
Anniversary. If you heard it, you would know exactly what it is.
Oh, so
It's a TikTok.
So I've probably heard it.
Yeah, you.
And then he's in Peaches.
Yeah, I've heard him in Peaches.
That song's.
Okay.
That song's just
well,
really
let me just put you on, because this stuff is
okay.
Really
got some good music.
Oh, for sure. And then Justin Bieber's another one, because
Love Biebs.
Yeah, I'm a believer. Like that's it. That's all there is to it.
Box set Believers.
Box Head's Believers. Let's be real here.
Oh,
I've got the Bieber fever.
That might need to be the name of this episode.
They don't need a COVID vaccine anymore. They just need a Bieber fever vaccine.
Oh my gosh.
You need one apparently.
Y'all are
I remember back in the day, like you would get like made fun of if you were a dude listening to Justin Bieber. But like, let's be real here. He had some bops back in the day. Like,
really
like looking back on it, his music was good. We just didn't want to admit it.
We didn't. It's a shame. It is a shame. Okay, now I'm looking at like some of my playlists right now, because I'm trying to decide who else I want to pick at the moment. Okay. This is another like kind of smaller group. Okay, actually I have one. Olivia Rodrigo.
I haven't locked in. I haven't locked in yet.
Chris is waiting to listen to
the
album.
Really?
He's waiting. I don't know. I didn't listen to the album. I just listened to a few songs.
Unfortunately, some of those hit way too close to home right now. So I've been freaking jamming out to those. So
which song?
What's the
go-to song right now?
What's the go-to on the album, so I can know?
Good For You or Traitor.
I figured Good For You would be on there.
It's just too good.
Good For You's been stuck in my head.
Which one's Driver's License?
Have you heard Driver's License, Chris? Or are you waiting to react to that too?
I told you, I literally have blocked all of her music. I want to listen to it at one time.
Okay, so I shouldn't play it for you right now.
No. Chris will end the Zoom right now, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Not even let us finish the episode.
Yeah, dang. Exactly. That's how locked in he is.
That's funny.
I guess unlocked.
Yeah.
Since he hasn't listened to it.
And then I mean, okay, those are like specific artists. And then I don't know, at that point, like I just listen to a bunch of different artists. Like it's not like
a specific one that you go after.
Those are like my specific ones right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another one I'll recommend is similar to Giveon is Daniel Caesar.
Heard of him. I've just never heard a song.
He's also in Peaches, but he's fire. And you've probably heard his songs before, you just don't know that they're by him.
So he's like one of those like guys who's like, I've made a lot of hits, just you have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
We just gotta go dig deep. Okay, that's another person we gotta go look at.
No, really. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to give y'all the good recs. Okay, and then I have one more. Lainey. Do you know the song? It just came out. I feel like it's kind of popular, maybe not, with Kelsey Ballerini. that
I know
I
Kelsey
quit
Kelsey
drinking.
Ballerini is. What's it called?
I've never
I
heard
quit
of it.
drinking.
It's not
Okay.
ringing a bell.
Look them up, bro. I'm just giving you new
I mean,
music to listen to.
I know who Kelsey Ballerini is because I'm big into
Right,
country
right.
music.
But they aren't like a country artist. They're like,
How do you spell
I don't
it?
even know. Laney, Lany.
Oh, I've heard of them.
They're really good.
I've heard of them. Yeah. I've seen
They're
people
really
like
good.
repost their stuff before. I've
You've
heard. I
definitely
haven't heard
like
their music.
I'm gonna go
probably
lock.
heard one of their songs at least too.
I have to lock in one day.
Yeah, for sure.
We might have to just live stream and listen to some of this music.
I'm gonna live stream Olivia Rodrigo. Everyone be ready.
Oh, I'm
Chris is
ready.
gonna be in his
A
feels
live
for ready.
reaction. It's gonna be great. I mean, that's why I
It
haven't
just
listened.
hits different. It hits different, I swear.
I want to hear this driver's license song so bad. I want to see if it really makes me sad.
You never heard it once.
Dude, I'm telling you, I blocked all of her music like for a reason, so I can listen to it at like one time. Seriously.
This time
That's
needs to be
great.
tonight, Chris.
No,
I think it's
not
time.
yet.
No,
It's time.
he wants to stream it
Yeah, I want to
so everyone can
Are
see.
you like waiting to like?
He wants to get a
really
reaction,
feel
basically.
it? Like, are you waiting for a moment that like you can just it just
No,
hits different?
he's just waiting until he gets like a setup with his computer because he wants to live stream like his reaction to it.
Okay. I got
Like
you.
a raw reaction, not like a fake one.
Right.
You know.
Like it's gonna be the most raw reaction, and I'm gonna give.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to watch that.
I'm ready.
I'm definitely gonna be tuned in.
I've
I'm
been
probably
hearing-
gonna
I've
be
been
next
hearing
one.
a lot
I'm
of
being
good
honest.
things
Count on
about
me.
it, so.
I'm gonna be tuned in.
She better
Next
not let me
one.
down.
What's that, Chris?
She better not let me down. I've been hearing only good things. So
Yeah. So what's your go-to food when there's nothing at home? Like
Filet.
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah,
That's
that Chick-fil-A sauce and the fries.
yeah, fries.
They're just-
those fries is just they're always good.
And then okay, have you guys got like they sell the Chick-fil-A sauce at the store now, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they sell like big bottles of Chick-fil-A sauce at the store,
Where?
like at Publix.
Is that in South Carolina or it can be in Georgia too?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I'm looking it up. It
It's a thing. I have a bottle in my fridge from
It says
Georgia
everywhere.
because I couldn't find it here at first.
Well, we
Might
can-
have to-
Well,
let me see.
maybe that's my hot take is that it's not as good.
What
really-
isn't as good?
The sauce in the bottle. Like,
Oh, it's
and
not
I
as
think it
good?
just comes down to like it's only good with Chick-fil-A.
Oh, so you would
it's
try
not
it with
that it's
different
not
things.
good. Yeah, it's not that it's not good. It's just
Yeah.
way
That's
better
probably
than
why.
Chick-fil-A.
That's
Okay.
probably why.
But they do have it. You gotta look into that. I'm telling you.
I gotta get my
I'm gonna have to
mind
look
right.
into that.
Yeah, I'm like opening y'all's eyes to way too many things right now.
Yeah.
There's so much I need to try. So what's your comfort show and comfort movie to watch?
All right, now I'm on the Grey's Anatomy wave. I'm
20
not gonna lie.
seasons? 20
Yeah,
seasons
I'm
of Doctors?
I'm on season 11, so I've gotten pretty deep. But I also started this like before 2021. Like
Okay.
it is definitely a lot of seasons and episodes, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. And at first, like I literally kept like going through these different scenarios in my life, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like living in grace. Like this is just like this, and it was ridiculous, but I'm obsessed with it. So that's kind of my comfort show at the moment. And then comfort movie, I don't really like. I'm not good with like favorites. That's just like a thing of me. Like I just don't have favorites. But a couple of my favorite movies are I really like Moana.
That's a good
Classic.
one.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
a
a
good
good
one.
one.
That's a good one.
It's a tearjerker too. I don't know why, but it gets me. And then Black Panther is also really good. I love that movie. That movie is super dope.
The soundtrack for that movie is so good.
Yeah, that sounds like
That
love
movie
that
is just so
soundtrack.
good, period. Like
Yeah.
it's just so good.
I don't know
So,
how they're gonna make a second one though, with Chadwick not being in it.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
gonna be different. I don't know.
yeah. But
I'm like-
they're making Black Widow.
Oh yeah, that comes out Friday.
Really? I didn't
And
know
it
that.
is-
I thought it was longer than that.
At
Oh,
the
dang.
time of filming, just in case this drops very late, this is Wednesday, July 7th. So Black Widow has not come out for the viewers who are watching this after it comes out. So I'm looking forward to that. It looks good. Looks like a good movie. We've been waiting on it for too long.
Yeah, for sure.
In 2 years,
Yeah, literally. That movie should have been out a year ago. Like, literally just been sitting there. It's literally just been sitting in someone's garage, literally.
They probably had time to edit it too.
Yeah, they probably like
They've made some changes to it, I think.
I bet.
There's probably. It sounds like this means there's very high expectations for this movie because they've had too long.
It's been 2 years since a Marvel movie's been in theaters. So I mean, I think when Chris and I are planning on going on Friday, so we're expecting a full audience wherever we go.
Yeah, as you should.
That'll be weird. It'll be weird to be in a full audience again, but
that's what I was just thinking. That'll be crazy.
I didn't
even think about that. Oh man.
I mean, Chris, have you been to any like sporting events in the past year? I know Kelsey has because she's like on a athletic team.
Yeah, but still, I was about to say,
literally none.
I went to a Braves game. I've been to a few Braves games, and it's like walking in the first time in a year was the weirdest thing in the world. You're like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like it's happening. Like we're back.
We're back. For sure.
That's gonna be interesting. I haven't had that feeling yet. So
Chris, when I take you to a Braves game, you will.
I wasn't at a sporting event, but I was at the Whitewater Center. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was July 3rd. So it was absolutely slammed. Like and then there was like a fireworks show that night too, and more people kept like crawling in because it was free, like you didn't have to pay for it. So that was like the first moment that I was like, oh my god, like I guess COVID's just not a thing anymore. Like dang, like there was so many people there. Like that's when it really hit for me.
It's a good feeling though. It is a very
good
feeling.
For sure.
I believe Chris has a question for you next.
Do you have any pre-game, anything you have to do pre-track meet, like every single time, or any like song or anything
like a superstition or?
Yeah, honestly, I am not superstitious at all. I usually just try to like keep myself calm, get myself hyped up a little bit, so like some of that good music while you're getting ready before the meet. I think, okay, this is my one thing. I have to wear my bun. My little signature bun. Yeah. That's my thing. Because I've tried not to, and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. No, I couldn't not do it. So that's definitely my thing.
Do you have like a song that has to be played? Like when you have your earbuds in warming up, or I guess on the way to the meet, is there anything that needs to be playing at least once? Like for me, there was like 3 songs that had to be playing on the way to like a swim meet or a basketball game. Like Thunderstruck had to be playing. God's Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash had to be playing. And then I think it was Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill had to be playing at any point in the ride over. Is there anything like that for you? Or
honestly, no. Like I feel like I intentionally try not to be superstitious because I like want to be prepared for like whatever's thrown my way that day, just because like I've had meets where it's just hectic. Like this past season we showed up to this meet and presumably we have like an hour to warm up, right? And so we're like chilling for a little bit and then we start warming up, and next thing we know we're like walking by, we suddenly decide like we're gonna take the polls inside because with COVID like everyone was outside versus like all inside and for warm-ups and stuff like that. So we decided we're gonna take the polls inside, and we walk past and it's like all the pole vaulters are meeting and they're about to go inside, and like this was like the only time that you could go inside, and we were like, what? Because we weren't even done warming up. And so I sprint back to the tent, grab our bags, we run back in. I think I'm like not even gonna make it into the meet. It was this big ordeal. So I feel like that's just something I keep in the back of my mind, is like I don't want to have this one thing I have to do every time, because if I don't get to do it, then I'm gonna feel all like messed up. So maybe that's my idea behind that.
Got you. Who is your life role model? It can be a family member, but we also want to know who it would be like otherwise, like someone who's not a family member.
So I mean, I talked about my mom, so I feel like my mom. And then Somebody who's not my mom. I feel like this is teaching me I need to have more role models in my life. I know I like definitely have some. I'm just like blanking at the moment. Honestly, I just feel like anyone, okay, sure, I'll pick this one. So I think something cool about Justin Bieber is that like he's used his platform recently to like talk about his faith in God and like how he dropped that Freedom EP like right before Easter. Like that was fire. And that was so like I don't know if you know this, but he made that in 3 days. Like he literally made that EP in 3 days. And it has so many like featured artists and stuff too.
Yeah. I like that EP a lot.
Yeah. I just think it's really cool. And like I follow him on Instagram and like he's always like posting even just like one sentence, like it's like an image with like text over it, you know what I mean? And
it's
it's
like
just
something
like
that was
about
made
his
on
faith.
Snapchat.
Yeah.
Yes, literally. And I just think that's like really cool to like use your platform for like, I don't know, something bigger than you, not even just necessarily about faith, but like taking advantage of like that platform and using it for the good.
Yeah. I also like Bieber's story because like, you know, he was let's be real, he was kind of a punk at one time. You know, he was getting arrested a good bit.
They gave him a pacifier so that he wouldn't smoke anymore. Literally.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was like seeing that he was in a bad state for a while, then turned to his faith to help him get out of it. It was kind of, you know, surreal to me, like also as a Christian, like seeing like someone that big with faith, because you don't see that these days.
No. Yeah.
I thought that was
even
pretty
his
cool.
whole brands, like he like pushes Drew House and then like he'll talk about God a whole bunch through Drew House a whole bunch. I follow both, so like I see the whole bunch. I like it. So
yeah, it's a good way to kind of push, you know, I'm trying to think of the word. Hold on, I'm blanking. Kind of push what you're, you know, about, like what you support the most, you know, through that. So he's a good he's turned into a good role model.
Yeah,
for sure.
Another person actually would also be Reed Moore. Like
Reed,
that man's legit. Him and Ansley, who used to work at the church too, and Alexia, because like Ansley and Alexia, they're my role models, like career-wise. Like their work is just like incredible, and I'm always like, dang, like learning so much from them. Like it's so cool to have them both like as like a resource in a way too, like as I'm like learning more and doing more, and like I ask them so many questions, and it's just really cool to like see what they're doing and creating. And then Reed, just like what a guy.
He's
like
Reed.
It's just undebatable. Like, and then seeing how like he's doing such big things like as the head pastor at Gwinnett now, like that's so legit. Like super cool. I love all the reels I see on the Gwinnett church page of him.
I know, because he left right after y'all left, because y'all are a year older than me, so like it was like, wow, they really got Reed's last year and I didn't, you know.
He had to leave with the best, sadly.
About that one. my class was an elite class, but yeah. So Reed, if you're watching, we have an episode. We've been talking about getting you in an episode.
Ooh, that would be
make
cool.
that happen? Why don't we make that happen?
I'll be down. I'm gonna be listening on that one.
Yeah,
sure.
we might need all the Boxhead fans to blow up your DMs in a second. It doesn't get through. So
yeah, Reed, just know you're about to have a DM overload.
That'd be ridiculous.
So what's your best memory, like kind of like, I guess this can be for pole vaulting or whatever sport you play, like any of the sports that you played growing up? Like what was like your best memory through there that you'll like kind of hold with you for the rest of your life?
So I have two. They're actually both pole vaulting. The first one was when I won state, not just because I won state, but because like the year before, I remember I like wrote one of my college essays about this, but like the year before I was on the podium, but I was crying, and it was because I got 5th place. And it was just because that going into that season, I was ranked as number 1 to win state. I had severe quad strain that I just couldn't get past. Like, it literally felt like somebody was jabbing me in the thigh with a knife. Like, it was terrible. Was out all season. Fortunately, came back near the end, was doing well enough that I thought I was going to be able to pull it off and like win. Like, I thought I had it in the bag, right? And I get there and I like didn't even jump my season best, like, let alone a PR, like, which is what I would have needed to like win the meet. And so I was on the podium. Like, fortunately, I was 5th, but I was crying because I was upset. And so that next year is like when I really devoted myself. Like, I got a personal trainer. I started doing my diet better. I was working so hard at practice, was like watching so much more film, like doing all those things. And I was on the podium again with tears in my eyes, but it's because I won state, and I'll never forget that.
That's
and
crazy.
So that was legit. And then my other moment was honestly only a couple months after that had happened. It was actually the New Balance Nationals meet that my coaches like kept talking me up, like, oh, you're gonna win, because the past 2 years before, like, they had somebody that won. And so I was like, I don't know, like, I don't know if I'm gonna win this meet. Like, what are you talking about? But I just let them like say that. And I honestly had this big pressure on myself because I knew that like they had people win the past 2 years. So, but I did not think I was gonna do it. Like, that is the key point here, is I just didn't actually think I was gonna win. And I will never forget when I went over that bar, the PR bar, my first attempt, like, because you get 3 attempts at each height. And I went over my very first attempt, and I knew like I had won the meet.
Like, so it was like one of those things, like, you got over, you're like, oh man, like,
yeah, like
this is
seeing
happening.
myself over the bar and falling and being like, what the heck? Because I just didn't see it coming whatsoever. And I started crying, and my teammate was like, you know, you're not done yet, right? Like, you're still jumping. And then this other girl actually made the height. Like, she made it on her 3rd attempt. So then the bar had to go up. And if she like would have made the next bar, I wouldn't have actually won. But neither of us ended up making it. And I like got the meet record. Yeah, I won the meet, got the meet record, broke the Gwinnett County all-time record. Like, it was just like a crazy day, like personal best, you know, new school record at that point. Like, that was definitely just a high on my career, just because it just went back to the fact that like all the hard work I did and like devoting myself in more ways than one, like, actually paid off. And so, and just knowing that I could do it and then actually doing it was really cool. So chasing after that feeling again.
Good stuff. Chris, I believe you have a question.
Do you wait? One question for that one. Do you still own the school record?
I do. Yeah. And then I still have the county record too, actually.
Yeah.
I know a girl like took one of I had like a stadium record. I think I had like the Mill Creek Stadium record. I think a girl took that this year, but honestly, records are meant to be broken. So it's
I guess that means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Right. Setting the standard.
But I was gonna ask, like, well, since we already talking about anime, like, I guess, like, I was gonna ask, like, what's your guilty pleasure? Like, anime, I guess, would be my guilty pleasure, I guess.
Like, when we say guilty pleasure, I mean, like, okay, so like before you answer this, we're just gonna let you know that you would not have the weirdest answer we've ever seen. I feel like we have to clarify that every time we ask the question.
Oh my god!
Like, don't be afraid to like let it out, because
listen, the first time we got the most ridiculous answer. So like, it's really? The bar has always been set high, and like I don't think anybody will ever reach it again.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm gonna be a slight disappointment, but mine is literally just sugar, like sweets, dessert. At
least it's not napkins.
Yeah.
Liam Butts.
Exactly.
He was the first one we asked this question to, and he's like, "I'm not gonna lie, guys. Every time I eat, I have to eat a little bit of my napkin." And we were like, "What is wrong?"
Okay, for one, I don't know if that would have came to mind as like a guilty pleasure.
Exactly.
But then too, like,
we were expecting to be like, "Oh, I listened to." We were expecting him to say like, "Oh, I listened to Big Time Rush in the locker room." We all got not
Don't hang up Big Time. What's up? Damn,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
hating on Big Time. I'm just
hilarious.
saying.
they're the best.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
never able to watch it. My parents were strict
Dang.
like that, so I never watched it.
Never
Oh, Big Time Rush?
get your mind
I
right.
don't know why.
It's on Netflix. Get your
Yeah,
mind
it's on. I was about to say it's on Netflix.
No, get your mind
you can
right.
catch up
I
on
guess
lost
I
time.
guess I know what I'm watching tonight. I guess
Yeah, I
I
know. That's show number 2. That's my second favorite show. Like, get your mind right.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
So just sugary food is your guilty pleasure?
Yeah, sugar and sweets. Yeah, I would eat them every day if I could. So definitely my
do eat
guilty
them every
pleasure.
day. I eat them every day. I probably should stop.
So do
Yeah.
I need to get my mind right. I need to get back in the gym.
We're lacking.
I feel like Chris and I have earned the sweets, so we've been building a studio for months. So
Yeah, that's so cool.
yeah,
Where's
I
it
wish
at?
What's that?
I don't know if you want to disclose that actually on the podcast, like the
Where is that?
location.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna say a location. We just
Yeah.
But to figure out the location is above me. But yeah.
Okay. Word. Super
Yeah.
cool.
yeah. Chris, do you have any more questions to ask Kelsey?
What do you want to end the episode with? What do you like have to say? You want to shout out anyone? Like, really can shout out anyone.
Coaches, friends, anyone that would want to shout out?
Shoot. I don't know. I mean, honestly, it feels appropriate to be like, to give a shout out to everyone who's helped me get to this point. Like, to get where I am today athletically. And just shout out to all the people that are still there helping me get there. If I had to shout out one person, it'd be my best friend Presley, because this is actually her room that I'm sitting in right now, because I was like, my bed is like not made and it's a little bit of a mess in there. And so she's just the best. Like, so I've been there, always been there for me, always pushing me to be better. So yeah, her and everyone else that's just helped me get to this point, still helping me get even further.
Nice. So it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to hop on Zoom and come on the pod. Oh, you got one more.
Before we wrap this up, Boxhead, we need to actually thank Kelsey, because we wouldn't have a logo without Kelsey.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you very much. That's one thing I almost let that slip. I was going to start with that, but thank you very much for helping us, because literally we wouldn't have like anything that we've like even tried to like achieve. And on the low, since we're talking to you, I was going to text you about this like once it was going a little deeper and we figured out like exactly what we're doing, but we're like getting like shirts and stuff, and like you're most definitely gonna get one and like everything, but like
yeah.
Oh my God.
You get a free shirt. Every guest gets a free shirt, but you're gonna be first on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, bet. I'm excited. I'm gonna rep it for sure.
But yeah, so the logo you see when the album cover is on our Spotify podcast, that's credit to Kelsey. So make sure you thank her for the logo.
The TV. If I turned on my PS4, if I just went through that screen, it's on the background of my TV. Like,
oh my gosh,
it's like everywhere. It's everywhere. So it's all thanks to Kelsey. So
also forgot to mention this in the beginning, and it kind of like exited my mind. But we have our first Boxhead girl on the pod.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we're setting milestones in our. I don't even know what episode this is, but we're setting milestones early.
Love
we're
it.
going. Yeah.
I'm honored.
All right. So that'll conclude this episode. Thank you for stopping by, and we hope to get you in studio sometime soon. So.
Yeah, that'd be super fun. Super fun. Thanks for having me, for sure.
Of course. All right. See you, Boxheads.
Peace.
Bye.